Hello, my name is Amber Mason, and this is my presentation on screencasting, the new way of instruction. The technology is here, and it frees instructors to use class time more creatively, constructively, and authentically. There's 3 different screencasting programs that I've used: Loom, Adobe Connect, Screencast-O-Matic. Loom, Adobe, and Screencast all have different prices, but most you can access for free. With Loom, it works on specific computers such as Mac, Windows, and iOS. With Adobe, it works on all platforms, and same with Screencast-O-Matic. Videos post automatically for the Loom, so you don't have to upload them to an outside source such as YouTube. You can just share the link and people can access it through the site. Through Adobe Connect, it's a little bit different. You're going to have to post those video recordings and convert them. But it's an amazing tool to use because you can use it for live instruction or just for screencasting purposes. And then with Screencast-O-Matic, it's easy for students to access and use. So if you want students to be screencasting and using their technology, that's going to be the most effective tool to use. Why do we use it? With the new digital age and the boost in online learning systems, screencasting becomes a necessary component implemented by effective educators who understand the value of the different learning styles, audio, visual, and kinesthetic, and consider the need of engagement. Oftentimes, online learning fails students when it acts as a flipped classroom, especially when there are students with special needs, students with circumstances, and students who are looking for connection and value for content, which cannot be achieved solely with emails, announcements, readings, but more interaction from the educator. Screencasts help us make that content more engaging and help us to explain the content and break it down. Scaffolding is key to success, and oftentimes with a flipped classroom, with students who are new to it, it can be very challenging. I witnessed this with COVID-19. Many children were able to understand that they were now in charge of their learning environment, in charge of managing their own time. Here's a quote from Aaron Sams. He wrote the book, Flip Your Classroom, Every Student in Every Class, Every Day. And he said, many struggling students who genuinely want to learn fall behind instead. Others are so busy that they miss out on key concepts. Still, others learn how to play school, but never really learn important objectives in their courses. Screencasting changes this. It's not the same as just going through content online. Instead, students are seeing teachers up in front of the board giving instruction. Connection is important, and up until COVID-19, connection in online courses was really limited. And the idea of using a flipped classroom was really misconstrued just to using it when students came to class after doing readings. Now it's been revolutionized. So according to the book by Aaron Sams and Jonathan Bergman, there's a monumental push for flipped classrooms to be more balanced and reflective of student needs. So now we're considering students who have been labeled with 504s, have IEPs, maybe they're ELLs, so English language learners, when we're doing these online learning platforms and using these new tools. There are challenges with the flipped classroom, and screencasting helps us overcome those. So the lack of student discipline, students are still learning how to manage their own time and manage their learning. Lack of teaching resources, so screencasting really helps solve that because you're able to use multiple sources. Old-fashioned classrooms, so no longer are we depending on the students just to do the reading themselves, but we can walk them through the reading. And lack of equipment, so if you don't have the proper equipment like a computer, iPad, or phone, it's harder to screencast. But luckily most people do have a phone in their pocket, and all 3 of the programs I talked about do allow you to screencast from your phone. Now, things to avoid. A flipped classroom can stir debate. It's really fascinating how instruction styles differ and how flipped classroom has really become vital in the new time of teaching. So, do not leave students behind if they struggle with this concept of a flipped classroom. Taking information on their own without a teacher to break down or add explanation to what is read can cause challenges. Screencasting allows this. You can read them part of their novel, give some discussion questions, and help them look at key pieces, transitions, subordinating conjunctions, anything that would help them to be successful. And since it is screencasting, you can videotape yourself once and all students can access it as many times as possible. Be more interactive. Don't depend on emails and announcements in online courses. Pull in times weekly with live lessons and post more videos of you breaking down content. So there was one study that I looked at for the journal criticisms, and it showed that a teacher for social studies had spent 5 years perfecting his flipped classroom. He decided that it was appropriate to assign 2 to 3 screencast videos a week of content, as well as help with tools, so how to use PowerPoint, how to use Word. And this really helps students get used to seeing their teacher on camera and get used to accessing it. I also saw that many times screencasts were pulled in for student presentations, and this was very effective in getting students to use technology for a greater purpose. Lastly, expect learners to need time to understand how to shift their learning as it becomes more focused on them taking the lead individually. So learning in action, how to use the programs. Here's some key videos you need to navigate the programs. Loom, there's many posted videos on their site as well as on YouTube. Adobe Connect has a great help section. You can search anything you're looking for, whether it's annotation tools, whether it's how to put a poll in where students can access it later, or to show a video and show an image on the screen at the same time. They have it all. Screencast-O-Matic also has helpful videos as well as on YouTube. All of these websites continue to update, and we're seeing the updates become more frequent with everything happening in the world. Consider making your own how-to videos that are student-friendly or specific to tasks that screencasting will be used for. There's benefits to each. Loom is quick to post the video on the Loom site so that you can easily share a link. It also has a unique video editing feature and real-time ability for making changes during recordings. You can pause, you can cut, you can rewind, or you can skip forward. This is the program I use to screencast this presentation. Adobe Connect is centered on being an all-in-one platform. It's flexible for either screencasting or live lessons. It is the most expensive tool out of all three, but it's fantastic for very large groups of up to 100 people or more. Screencast-O-Matic is great for student use as well as instructional use. Screencast-O-Matic is something that students can easily access. It doesn't take too long to download, depending on the device, and it's something that they can use in groups. There are challenges of each, though. So Loom recording tools, though versatile as you're going, they're more helpful at the end, as there are additional things. You can edit the sounds, you can edit the voice level. It's really up to you. You can add in photos, transitions. It's not optimal when you're recording, though, because of the pause button. It's located in a weird location in the corner, so if teachers are trying to quickly change their gears or change the topic or go back, it does take a moment. Adobe Connect is costly and not accessible without being paid for. You do get a free trial. But it can also be overwhelming for instructors and students due to the many different screens and multitasking required to instruct. So training is a must with your Adobe Connect program. But once the training is done, the screencasting is smooth, and so is any live lessons you want to do, and it's easy to switch back and forth. So you could be teaching a live lesson and then play a screencast video of yourself doing something, or of a how-to, or even a student presentation very quickly and easily. Lastly, Screencast-O-Matic. In the past, it used to be blocked by some school internet settings, and before recent updates, it seemed a bit risky of a tool just because it took so much to download, and it was often harder to access through the school. But that has been really updated recently, so you're seeing new site software, you're seeing new tools on there, and they're offering additional editing tools, so depending on your membership. But both of these, the Screencast-O-Matic and the Loom, do start out free, which is really great for teachers in the classroom, professors in college, and so forth. Overall, that was my presentation, and those 3 tools are very helpful. I suggest looking at the links for each video, and if you're interested, you can always contact me to see some of the videos I've made for my classroom during this COVID-19 epidemic. I've also made videos in the past for fellow teachers to teach them how to use Loom, as well as how to use different sites, such as Google Classroom, because screencasting is the future, and it's easy, and it's often fun.